What's going on, guys? Cameron Blazy here, welcoming you to the PBAJ Season 2. This is more of an update for my team because we have made all three of our transactions before Week 4 started. So that means they are viable for Week 4. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to go over them real quick, why I dropped what I did, my thought process, what the new Pokemon are bringing to the table, and my expectations, and such and such. So first off, I realized, look, I've done this before. I've dropped Latios in the past because I'm more of a Latios fan. I don't know how to make Latios work. You might be saying, well, Latios and Latios do the same thing. Not really. Latios is more defensive, like support, and Latios can Dragon Dance. I love the Dragon Dance Latios set. I swept with it in the PBA. I mean, not the PBA, in the ABL at one point. Like Latios is so much better. And when I saw that Latios was drafted, I panicked and I grabbed the wrong dragon. I should have grabbed Hydreigon while still on the board, but I couldn't. But I didn't. So yes, that is my fault. So I had to drop it because it just, yes, it gives me a ground immunity, but it gives me a dark weakness, it gives me a ghost weakness, it gives me an ice weakness. And while Gardevoir doesn't really patch that up, it does patch up this ice weakness. We aren't weak to dark; it's neutral. And Gardevoir, I feel like, is more diverse, if that makes sense, because Gardevoir can be a Calm Mind setup sweeper. I mean, Latias can do that. It gets a better move pool, in my opinion, and it can Moonblast. It gets Elemental Punches. You can run physical, but it's not smart. You get Shadow Ball, Signal Beam. You can taunt things. You can trick them. You can Toxic Will-O-Wisp. It gets Wish, Zen Headbutt. Not good, like I said, but it's there. It gets Screen, so it can be a dual screen set. It can be your Cleric. It can be a Sweeper. It can be a Life Orb Wall Breaker. Calm Mind setup sweeper. It can be a trick setup sweeper. I just feel like Gardevoir is something I'm more comfortable using, and I've used Mega Gardevoir in the past. Regular Gardevoir isn't nearly as good, but I can use that. I can work with Gardevoir because it also gets three really nice abilities. Two actually. I forget. It gets telepathy. It can synchronize, so you can't like freely toxic or scald on this thing because, like, if you scald on one of your sweepers that are already low and it get burned, then that's just going to ruin the longevity of that Pokemon. And you also can trace, so like if something like a Manectric tries to Volt Switch on me and it has Volt Absorb, Lightning Rod, it can't do that because then I get a special attack boost and Gardevoir sitting at +1 all of a sudden. Not to mention, Gardevoir has a base 125 special attack, 115 special defense, 80 speed, so it's not as fast at all. 65 attack, 65 defense, 68 HP, so it's not as bulky, but it does hit harder than Latios does. It doesn't get Draco Meteor, so it's kind of unfortunate, and it's not as bulky as Latios, but I feel like this is a better pickup for my team in general. It works better with my team. It gives us a fairy type. That is the one thing we needed most, is a fairy type, because now people can't just dragon spam on us. I mean, not that they've dragon spammed us in the past, but dragon spam is very, very scary, and having a fairy type that can just like swap in on it and easily scare it out or set up is very nice. Like, I am happy with this transaction. I mean, it sucks we have to drop Latios. I mean, it got 1 kill last week on week 2, but besides that, Latios didn't bring much to the table. So we also are dropping Scyther, and we are picking up Fracture. Now, when we dropped our Latios, we needed another dragon type, because Dragon is probably one of the best types in the game outside of Fairy and Bulky Water, and in my opinion, but Dragon is very, very strong, and Fracture is surprisingly really good if it sets up. It has a base 117 attack, 66 HP, 70 defense, 40 special attack, 50 special defense, 67 speed. So it's not fast at all, but it hits very hard. And if you put an Eviolite on this thing will take hits and it can sweep. You don't even need to make it adamant because of how high its attack stat is. You run Jolly and you can max out the speed, and then you outspeed things after +1 or +2, because Fracture just puts in so much work. And it doesn't get Earthquake. Sadly, I didn't When I first drafted this a while ago, I thought it would get Earthquake because I was planning on taking it out with Rotom Heat, but it doesn't. But it does get Aqua Tail, it gets Dragon Claw, it gets Facade, so you can't burn it. Well, you can, but it has the chance to have that. It gets Low Kick, Night Slash, Outrage, Poison Jab. Like, these 3 moves right here give you so much coverage. Night Slash hits your Psychic types, Poison hits your Fairy types, Outrage just hits everything else. You get Low Kick for your Steel types and Rock types that can usually take hits. You get Roar, so you can be like a support Roar set with, like, you can also set up Sword Stance. You get Taunt, you get X as your superpower, Sub, Shadow Claw. This thing has a great move pool, and I feel like it's going to be, like, slept on. Like, oh, it's only a Fracture. If this thing, and it also gets Aqua Tail. I don't know if I said that or not. If this thing can set up a Dragon Dance in the right spot and outspeed everything, it will sweep you because it has such a high attack stat. Base 117, like, just put in max without Adamant, you're already at 302. And most, like, Victini, if it does that, it's only at 299, so it's not much of a difference, but Victini at max hits 328, and we hit 332, and that's a big difference in my opinion. 332 and 328 hits it's a pretty big difference, I feel like. Like an Outrage from a Fracture, there's not a lot of swap-ins, and then if you swap in your Fairy type, you catch a Poison Jab. Fracture, in my opinion, is going to be one of, like, it's not going to get a lot of kills, but it's going to be a decent wall breaker. It's a slow, like, baby blade Fracture thing that's going to punch some holes in the team, which Scyther, all it did was make us super, super, super weak to Stealth Rocks. Scyther, I mean, yeah, it has a 110 attack, 105 speed, so it was a fast, hard-hitting thing with EVLite, but Scyther you swap in on Stealth Rocks and you can't take hits anymore. And, I mean, Blastoise doesn't get that reliable recovery, so we have to keep him healthy, which means Rapid Spin is harder to put on Blastoise than if it was holding leftovers, it would be easier because then it could take a hit, but your Mega Blastoise needs to hit harder, in my opinion. It needs to take hits and hit hard back, because if you just run like a support Blastoise set with Rapid Spin, Toxic, Roar, and Scald, you're going to get worn down very quickly because you don't got recovery. I mean, we do have a Wish Passer and Umbreon. We dropped up one of our Wish Passers, but we also have Gardevoir, which can now Wish Pass too. So we're fine there, I feel like. So, yeah, Fracture can just come in, hit really hard, do a lot of stuff. And another hard-hitting thing we have picked up is Honchkrow. We dropped Rhydon for it. So we dropped a Tier 1 for Tier 3, a Tier 5 for Tier 5, and a Tier 5 for Tier 3. And the way the point system works out is we can do that because Latias had 180 points, and then the other two combined had 80 combined. And so we have like 100, 40, and 100. So yeah, it works out. It's 240, and then yeah, so it works out. Honchkrow is very good. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, like, ever, because it's just a Dark type, and Dark type is my favorite type in the entire game. Honchkrow is very interesting because you worry about the Brave Bird Moxie Sweeper, but it also can run Calm Mind, and people I don't think realize it gets Calm Mind. It doesn't get Air Slash, but it does get Air Cutter, so it can run like Calm Mind, Dark Pulse, Air Cutter, and heck, it gets Heat Wave, Cody's favorite move. Night Slash, Nasty Plot, Psychic, gets Rest, so you can run like a Rest Calm Mind set, which would be really terrible, but it gets Shadow Ball, it gets Sucker Punch, Superpower, Tailwind, Taunt, Thunder Wave. You can Ward things out. It gets, let's look at its other, like, not used moves. It gets Confuse Ray, which is actually really nice. Dream Eater's bad. Gets all the hidden powers. Icy Wind for those Landorus's and Garchomps. Gets Incinerate. Like, what? It gets Incinerate. It gets Omnibus Wind, so if something's really low, you can Omnibus Wind and hope to get that massive boost, which could come in handy in case there's like something like a Hoopa out there. I mean, we would Sucker Punch that anyway, but you never know. Get Snarl so you can lower special attack. Like, I love Honchkrow. Get Stealing for your Diancies. Honchkrow is easily like top 5 favorite Pokemon. It's on that list. Not just from like a design standpoint, and even competitively, it's really good because it can be a Super Luck Night Slash attacker. You gotta look out for that. You also gotta look out for the Moxie set, because if this thing gets a Moxie like Life Orb or Choice Band or anything like that, it can sweep you. All Rhydon. I mean, Rhydon is very good. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to use Rhydon really bad this season, but I just don't it's just not my kind of thing. Because, yeah, it has a really good attack and defense stat, and it's really bulky if you invest right. But I don't want to use something that has to set up multiple times to, like, sweep a team. Honchkrow can just set up, doesn't even have to set up, and it can be very threatening. But Rhydon, it's more of it looked as a defensive Pokemon, and yeah, it gives me Stealth Rocks, but we have Stealth Rocks in our what's it called? We have Stealth Rocks. On our, I don't remember what it's called. Crap. I'll have to look at that later. Let's see. Let's go through the team. We got Victini. It's tier 1. Oh, Registeel. Yeah, there we go. I was like, what's the big yellow, silver thing? Yeah, Registeel already gives us Stealth Rock, so we don't need, yeah, another Stealth Rocker would be nice, but Registeel is more reliable on the defensive side. Yeah, Rhydon's moveset is insane, and if it's used right, it can just sweep teams, but that's a risk I don't want to take, because if I build a team around Rhydon and it fails, we're going to have trouble. Like if you watched my PBAJ match, oh crap, that hurt really bad, against Cody. The moment one of our checks went down, we completely lost, and that was Terrakion. So I want to have a team that has multiple chances. I can build a team that has multiple like attackers and multiple win cons, multiple ways of sweeping teams and winning. Because Victini, yes, it's very good. But besides that, you can't pair with Latias because of the dark type weakness. Terrakion was a good bring, but it's weak to Earthquake. I feel like this Victini and Honchkrow pair, or Victini and Fracture, or Victini and even Victini and Fracture. I was gonna say Gardevoir, but Gardevoir can't really sweep. It can. I can't. It makes sense in my head. Like Victini paired with these three works way better than Victini paired with Latias, Scyther, Rhydon, I feel like. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm stuck with this team until the end of the season. But I'm almost confident that this team will work out. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this. In a few hours, my battle, well, not my battle, my team prep versus Ace will be up. So you guys gotta come and watch that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed. I shouldn't be doing any more of these because our transactions are done, and no one wanted to trade Latias. I tried trading Latias with everyone. I added all the coaches on Discord, saying like, hey, does anyone want to trade Latias? And we never got to an agreement with anyone. So I tried, but at the end of the day, we can't have Latias on the bench doing nothing. And I'm sorry if that was loud. I just dropped my phone on the old computer, but don't mind me. I'm gonna get about. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section how you think these draft or transactions are going to affect the team. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.